Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jai Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe. Jaya Lalita Visaka Lalita Visaka Lalita Visaka Jaya Lalita Visaka. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Tramini Prabhupada Sahityam Yapakasha Vitiraja Charangirva Sadhavat Pati Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Oma Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, text number 11. It's quite a long purport. It's about 4 pages here. So we will read through this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Abhajanante Mam Mudha Manusim Tanung Asritam Param Bhavam Ajananta Mama Bhuta Maha Iswaram Avajananti mang mudha Manusim tanung asritam Parambhavam ajananto Mama bhuta maheswaram Abhajananti mang mudha Manusim tanung asritam Parambhavam ajananto Mama bhuta maheswaram Tanum asritam Parambhavam ajanato Jananti mamudha Manusin tanum asritam Ajanato Pacininte mang mudha Manusim tanung asritam Param Brahma ajanato Mabhuta maheswaram Manusim tanung asritam Param Brahma ajananto Hamabhuta maheswaram Abhajananti mang mudha Param Brahma ajananto Mama bhuta maheswaram. Word for word meaning. Abhajananti, deride. Mam, me. Madhu, Mudha, foolish man. Manusim, in a human form. Tanum, a body. Ashritam, assuming. Param, transcendental. Bhavam, nature. Ajananta, not knowing. Mama, my. Bhuta, of everything that be. Maha Isvaram, the Supreme Proprietor. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Everybody please repeat. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Purport. From the other explanations of the previous verses, it is in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The personality of Godhead who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Isvara Parama Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord. There are many Isvaras, controllers, and one appears greater than another. In the ordinary management of affairs in this material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is a secretary, and above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Krishna is the supreme controller. There are many controllers, undoubtedly, but in the material world and spiritual world, or both in the material and spiritual world. But Krishna is a supreme controller, Isvara Parama Krishna, and his body is Satchit Ananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and considered him to be a man. His body is called here Manushim because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a political involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he is acting just like an ordinary man, but actually his body is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in the Vedic language also. Satchit Ananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the eternal blissful form of knowledge. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language also. Tang ekam Govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Satchit Ananda Vigraham. And your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternality. Despite the transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many so-called scholars and commentators of Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Mudha, for only foolish persons considered Krishna to be an ordinary human being. The foolish consider Krishna as an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and His different energies. They do not know that Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss. They do not know that Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, that He is the proprietor of everything that be, and that He can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they deride Him. Got a long purport. I will read and maybe you have a question after that. Nor do they know that the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world is a manifestation of His internal energy. He is the master of the material energy, as has been explained in several places. Mama Maya Duratyaya. He claims that the material energy, although very powerful, is under His control, and whoever surrenders unto Him can get out of the control of this material energy. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the personality of Godhead Krishna, appearing just like an ordinary man, can be the controller of all the atoms and of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception, so they cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although He is controlling the infinite and the finite, He is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning His Yogam Aishwaryam, His inconceivable transcendental energy, that He can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that He can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, cannot control or can control the infinite and the finite, those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto Him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord. There are many controversies between the impersonalist and the personalist about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative texts for understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man, although he appeared and on this earth as an ordinary human being. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, when the sages headed by Saunaka inquired about the activities of Krishna, they said, Kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshava ati markyani bhagavan gudha kapata manusha. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so marked the performance as a man between the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful acts that Krishna performed while he was present on this earth. When Krishna appeared before his eyes, before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands, but after the prayers of the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child. As stated in the Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 46, Babhubha Prakrita Shishu, he became just like an ordinary child, an ordinary human being. Now, here again, it is indicated that the Lord's appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of his transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, also it is stated that Arjuna prayed to see Krishna's form of 4 hands, Tinaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena. After revealing this form, Krishna, After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manusham Rupam. These different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Some of those who deride Krishna and who are infected with the Mayavad philosophy quote the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Text 29, Text 21. To prove that Krishna is just an ordinary man. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatma vashtita shada. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular verse from the Vaishnava Acharyas like Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti. Thakur instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna, Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that Krishna in his plenary expansions as Paramatma is situated in the moving and non-moving living entities as the super soul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archamurti, the form of the Lord, in the temple and does not respect other living entities is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are 3 kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lower stage. The neophyte devotees gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should feel that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and everybody is the embodiment of the temple of the Supreme Lord. So as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should consider similarly, properly respect each other and everybody in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, he is not in the temple. Is he not in the temple or in the deity? Although the personalists and the impersonalists will fight with one another perpetually, a perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality, he is all-pervading, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Goloka Vrindavan, and he is always staying there by his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation. Hare Krishna. Quite a long purport. One of the longest purports in the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, it's already 6:10. My eyes was like trying to focus. Feeling tired, reading after a long time. Prabhupada's main purpose why he came to the West is to preach Krishna consciousness, to tell the conditioned souls in that part of the world about Krishna consciousness, that God is the origin of everything, and the original name for God is Krishna. He's also a person, like us, but much more. It's like the man is made from the image of God. So it's like we're a person. So similarly, God is also a person, but he is the supreme person. He is the cause of all causes. Sarva karna karanam. Everything emanates from him. Janmadi asayataha. He is the creator, both the material and spiritual worlds. That's coming from him. Maya jakshena prakriti. I think this is the last verse. Yes, before. Maya jakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hito nanina kaunteya tad jagat viparivartate. Jagat viparivartate. Everything is working under the direction. So when we say energy, there is energetic. It is foolish to conclude that since there is an energy, that this material world where we are, this is material energy, or also energy, one of the energies of the Supreme Lord, Tatashta Shakti, the Jiva Atma. If there is a heat and light, that means there is fire. There is a source of this heat and light. So similarly, this material world was created, therefore there is a creator. But the foolish, those, as Prabhupada, he translated the word mudha, foolish man. Sometimes he would use the word rascal, the foolish man, rascal. Why? Because they deride, abhajananti mammudha. The foolish man deride Lord Krishna. That when he descended to the material world, that is called avatar, one who comes from the spiritual world. So the Supreme Lord also, when he came, he exhibited, he manifested himself as just like a human form, an ordinary human form. His human form activities, though, are not generally considered to be normal. They are considered to be superhuman activities, the one that he performed. Like lifting Govardhan hills, killing the different demons every day in Vrindavan, taking birth from the cell of King Kamsa and been brought by his father, Vasudeva. And all these different activities, right from the very early age, killing the cart demon, Sakatasura, killing the whirlwind demon, Trinivarta, killing Pralambasura. So many asuras. Every day, the Acharya says he would kill 2 or 3 demons before tiffin time. And this is his pastime. As a young boy. And the boys, they knew that Krishna will protect them. That even they went inside the womb of the belly or the mouth of this dark demon. What's the name of dark demon? Agasura. They knew that this is a demon, but they didn't care. They knew that Krishna is there for them to protect them. Many demons. He will kill, he will fight with big wrestlers, 3 or 4 times bigger than him. He was just a young boy, around 11 years old when he left Vrindavan. He was invited by, what's his name? Akrura, to fight. Kamsa pretended that, there's a wrestling tournament. So he invited them. I mean, the wrestlers are full grown up men. And Kamsa would like to take advantage that, yes, I will invite them and then they will be killed, especially this Krishna. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when we say the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is none other than Krishna. He is Swayam Bhagavan, Purna Bhagavan. He is the source of everything, and he possesses 6 opulences to the highest degree, unlimited degree: wealth, beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation, and strength. So, the Supreme Lord is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, as also mentioned by Lord Brahma when he, due to his maturity of performing tapasya, he had darshan of the Lord and the spiritual world. And he called the Supreme Lord as Govindam. Govindam. He is Param Isvara. He is a Supreme Master. He is the Supreme Enjoyer. And Lord Brahma, who is the first living being in our universe, he understood the position of Lord Krishna. So, Supreme Lord, he is responsible for all the activities in the material world, but he is aloof and he is not contaminated, he's not affected. He is the supreme, Param Isvara, supreme controller. And in the material world, Prabhupada gave an example here, that in the material world, one person is subordinate compared to the other person more higher.